please pray that I can genuinely and authentically love her, because Lord knows I am trying and I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. And I don't feel like there's this attachment and this bond like there should be. And like 2 hours after I sent that text, she smiled at me for the first time.
Welcome to Dream Small, where we believe God does big things through the small and everyday faithfulness of His people. I'm Jason.
And I'm Whitney. We're a family of 8 who's fostered, adopted, and stumbled our way through learning that small, everyday choices can change lives.
In a world that tells you to chase big, we dare you to dream small.
Because you know what? It's not about chasing fame. It's about choosing faithfulness. Welcome back to another episode of the Dream Small podcast. Jason, we'll start out with gratitude again this morning, today, this evening, whenever you're listening. We're recording at 4 a.m. So, Jason, what are you grateful for right now from this week?
I'm super appreciative for all the people we've interacted with after we spoke at the Resources of Hope Casino Night Gala. We were the quote-unquote keynote speakers, which was kind of funny to see. Apparently we did well because a lot of people have been very encouraging, told us how good we did, and it's just been really fun. I went up to introduce myself to a guy named Grant Kirsch. If you're in Indy, you know that name. He's one of the primary adoption attorneys in the area, and he sponsors everything. He does a lot of really good work. One of his peoples was at our dinner, and she said, "You guys were so good." She made me want to become a foster parent. So yeah, that was awesome. That between compliments Renee gave us, it's just been really awesome to hear people's response to what we had to say.
It has been. It's been really encouraging. So, yeah, it's been great.
What are you grateful for today?
Aw, thanks for asking. I am very grateful for a dear friend who has this incredible ability to see needs and figure out on her own ways to help meet those needs. I am scheduled to have a minimally invasive surgery in about a month. However, this surgery will leave me completely non-weight bearing for 4 to 6 weeks. So it's a pretty extensive recovery. And as a mama of lots of littles, that it's a little daunting to think about. And she has stepped up in some mighty big ways to try to help us as we figure out how to navigate what life will look like for those weeks that I can't do anything.
Yeah. She's awesome.
She is.
She helps us every week, helps us get all kinds of stuff done we couldn't otherwise get done.
Yeah. She actually came over to watch the kids this past Tuesday morning to give me a couple hours to do whatever I needed to do. And I told her, I said, I almost canceled because I didn't really have anything to do and I didn't mind just hanging out with the kids. But then I realized God graciously reminded me that I have like stacks of paperwork right now that have to be completed.
For our foster care license.
For our license, which, okay. If whoever's
we're going to vet
listening,
real quick. Yeah.
If whoever's listening is in the licensing world of foster care, please explain to me why we fill out the same paperwork every year and every 4 years. Like I'm talking like the same paperwork. I understand if there's been new children added to the home or a move or
you committed a crime,
a major life change. But can't we just start with, oh, hey, here's the paperwork you completed in a digital form from, whenever you did it last time. Are there any changes? Like I literally have a stack of so many papers, like probably 60 that have to be filled out.
Yeah.
And so much of it, I'm like, this is stupid. This is stupid. And the fingerprints. Oh my gosh. I think we might have talked about that before, but like, I don't know how many times we have to have our fingerprints on file for things, but our fingerprints don't change. So I feel like we got to get it together system.
If you ever rob a bank, you are in trouble.
Yeah, my fingerprints are everywhere. Like every adoption, every relicensure. I don't know, every background check.
It's a lot.
Like even for the kids' school for background checks. But like my fingerprints aren't different. Like run my social. You'll find my fingerprints. Cool. Done.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
There's gotta be, you need to like work in that logistical field, Jason. Like maybe that's the logistics you need to look into.
Fingerprints?
Yes. Relicensure. Like make stuff easier on foster parents.
Yeah. It's funny. It is funny how much work.
Funny is not the word that comes to my mind.
Well, it's a better word than I could otherwise use, so we'll say funny.
Yeah.
All right, today, what are we talking about, Whitney? Whitney.
We are talking about a topic idea that just made a lot of sense to me. And it's about how to stay soft in a calling and in a world that it feels safer to be hard, to let your heart harden. So how to stay soft in a really tricky calling.
Yeah, I don't want to say the episode because it's weird for a guy to talk about being
Okay.
soft and staying emotionally, all those things.
Sound like Benny.
It's appropriate, but we're supposed to be tough and all of those things. So
I thought you were referring to gosh, never mind.
I'm going to pray for you. Golly.
Well, we have a 10-year-old boy that all of a sudden thinks about talking about balls and nuts is the funniest thing in the world. So that's why I thought you were talking about.
No, please, all means, you go ahead.
I need to divert my thinking now. You need to wake up.
In the world, no, I don't need to wake up. In a world of foster care and adoption and a lot of other worlds you get into, you're going to be exposed to things where it's easier, it's safer to just harden your heart and not let yourself feel, see, experience the things you're going to experience.
So let's start with a question. Just take a moment and ask yourself this question. Jason, listener, have you ever felt yourself getting harder? Not because you want to, but because it just feels safer.
Guarded.
Protected.
Right.
I can't think of another synonym.
Guarded, protected, yeah. Almost removed is another way to say it.
Yeah. Kind of one foot out the door, not fully committed, walls up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not how we're called to live, right? I mean, and it's a reality. The world of foster care, it comes with really tough stuff. It comes with no promises. It comes with hard goodbyes. It comes with broken systems, with a whole lot of paperwork. And it comes with a lot of disappointment that different people bring it
all the people
to you and your family.
It's the thing is, anytime you deal with people, regardless of what field it is, you're going to be disappointed. People are always going to not live up to the standards you have for them.
That's fair.
Right? But when you're dealing with little humans and people you really want to step up and do the right thing all the time, it just is a bigger letdown. I actually think struggled with this more than me in the beginning of our journey.
Well, you also have two emotions.
No. I think I was more emotionally invested early than you were.
Yeah. Okay. But time out. So the whole disappointment in people thing, I want to go back to that for a second. Because it's so much a thing. And it made me think this packet of paperwork I was filling out recently for our licensure. One of the questions on it, which I think is new, maybe they've added new questions too, but still, the old stuff.
That's why they
should have
give you
been
new
on
paperwork. Because the new questions.
The question I don't recall being asked before is, how do you feel about a child returning to their biological family if there has been abuse or neglect? And another one was, do you support reunification, or how much do you support reunification? And here's my thing, how you said, this is a system that should be focused on the child, but very rarely is. And in both of those questions, I answered, I fully support what is in the best interest of the child.
Yeah.
Because it's not about
do you support? You can't blanket
do I
say,
support reunification if a child's been severely abused? No.
Yeah.
How do you answer that? So
that. Yeah. And if that's not good enough to be a foster parent, then okay.
Screw it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you want people that are just going to support reunification when it's not the best thing for that child, it's not me. Right. But this system, what's lacking, what's wrong with it is it's not always looking at the child-centered needs.
It's not child-centered.
It's not. Anyway, that was my little tangent. Not relevant to this situation.
It is a little bit. I mean.
Yeah.
So when we first started foster care with little Leah, on the you kept your guard up.
Yeah, I did.
Until we
until that judge like hit the gavel.
and said she's yours. Like you weren't slow. You loved her.
I
but
loved
you
her.
didn't go the final 10%
Yeah.
until she was officially ours.
Well, and I didn't trust the system. I didn't trust the judges. I didn't trust her belly mommy. Like there was a lot there. And
You're not a trusting person. It takes a lot for somebody to earn your trust.
see, I would say I'm the opposite. Typically in life, I trust real hard, real fast. But if they
Yeah.
break my trust, it's over.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Yeah.
I think.
You trust by default, but
Yes.
if you will break it really quick.
Yeah. Like I don't give a lot of second chances.
No, you hold grudges.
Even if you order Wendy's and don't tell me about it and then I find the receipt.
What are some other examples of hardened hearts would you think? Just so as we go through the episode, people can kind of in their own lives see what this might look like. What are some? I think one example is in foster care. You know, we shared one of our stories before was one of our kiddos went home abruptly in a way that we did not think was right and felt rushed and felt unsafe. We almost gave up fostering because of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were so mad. And like, if this system is so broken, they're going to allow kids to be exposed to this. We don't want any part of it.
Right. I think one of the ways is if you lose your compassion for these children and foster care becomes more transactional than compassionate. And if you think about it, you can see, I can see that because it can feel transactional. You know, I got a call the other day for a sibling set, a 9-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 3-month-old, and it could have felt very transactional because, you know, they said, I know you can't take the 5 and 9-year-old right now. Would you be able to take the 3-year-olds and we can find a different home? But I could have just said, yeah, bring her on over. But like that wouldn't have been fair, especially with my upcoming surgery. So, you know, I told them, I said, we would love to help. We can really only commit to more of a short-term placement, emergency placement. But, you know, we can't give you more than 30 days. So hopefully there can be a better home out there that could take her longer. So it's less disruptions for her, or less attachment and then leaving. But when you think about like these bad foster parent, like quote unquote bad foster parents that we hear about that actually do kind of stink.
Yeah.
It does feel transactional. Like they don't really desire to get to know the child. It is transactional, right? It's just like, yeah, I have a bed, bring him over. And that's it. And there's no attachment. There's no bonding. There's no relationship. Like we heard people last weekend talk about that, right? Like where they weren't involved in the family. Like they were just there. Like, and I don't know the motivation behind that or what causes that, or if it's just the motivation behind fostering in general, but you could easily become less compassionate and just make it more of a transactional thing. Like, yeah, I have a place for this kid to sleep. Completely negating the fact that they're a child with a past and with a heart and a child in need of love, which really stinks.
So I would say some telltale signs of staying soft-hearted, tender-hearted would be, you know, Jesus talks about being meek, right? Gentle, but meek is not weak. I have heard it said before, and I actually love this definition of being strong as a man is a man capable of great violence under control. If you're just weak, that's not anything noble or brave. But if you're capable of some things, but you love first and you're gentle, that is power. That is tenderness. And I think that's really important in this role as a guy, as a father, as a man leading your family, to stay tenderhearted, to stay gentle, to stay. It's hard, but that's one thing we need to really strive for. And remember, stay also compassionate.
How can a man stay gentle if it's not like in their nature? Because you think gentle, you think motherly, right?
It's different than moms, right? Like, I think I actually gentle parent our kids pretty well, relative, right? It's not.
Wait, are you saying you do gentle parenting?
No, not at all.
I thought you said I do a gentle parent our kids really well.
No, I think I do a decent job of being gentle with our kids, being a gentle parent,
I
not
gotcha.
gentle parenting. No,
I was like, whoa, stop that train. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, it's a different episode. It's not being. Our culture teaches being a man is toxic, right? Being masculine is toxic. So many people have jumped the shark and flipped up the other way that dudes
Jumped the shark or jumped the ship?
Jump the shark.
Oh, weird. I've never heard that.
You've ever heard that expression?
No, I've heard jump the ship.
I've never heard that expression.
What does jump the shark mean?
It's from a show in I forget what show it is. Like they were doing a thing and he like jumped a shark on a wakeboard and finally like, okay, you guys took it too far. Right.
So jump the ship essentially means like
I've never heard
jumping
the ship.
off the ship.
Yeah, I don't know why that makes sense here.
Okay. You go. I'm just here for
I don't
learning
know why.
purposes.
Yeah.
You don't know why I'm
I
here.
don't know why.
You love me. That's
I do. Our culture teaches men are toxic. So many guys have flipped the script and gone so soft. They're not being biblical men anymore. And it's important to be that. And the way you do that is by being Jesus, right? Jesus was the most strong, powerful person ever created.
Yeah.
But he didn't exercise that power, right?
I mean, he had
Why
a
he
righteous
was on
anger.
off.
He flipped some tables.
No, but I mean, he was God on earth. He
Yes.
could have done so much more.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't. He kept it on the cross. And eventually, obviously, he went and died. I think it's just...
And he led with love and a soft heart
I think
and
it's
open hands. Yeah.
And I think it's the best way to stay tenderhearted and soft-hearted is to die to yourself daily, right?
Yes.
You wake up every day and decide life is not mine. It's first God's life. Then it's I'm serving my spouse, and then I'm serving my kids.
Yeah. 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 And I think, staying compassionate, but that doesn't mean not having boundaries, right? You still can protect what's yours, your family, your children, but staying compassionate and staying open to loving again, even after loss. Like Jason said, that one time we could have just been like, you know what? We're done fostering. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth the heartache. The system's horrible, but that wouldn't facilitate any good change either. So Ezekiel 30.
I mean, hold on. But think about it. What if we had quit then?
What if?
We wouldn't have Bray Bray.
I know.
We wouldn't have Nine Nine.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have Little Man.
Yeah. No, our family would have been done with Leah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was going to talk about really quick. Ezekiel 36:26 says, I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. And yeah, I mean, I think this world, guys, like the world alone, not even just the world of foster care, but the world, it would be so much easier to walk around with a heart of stone and just not caring. But what change can you make that way? What good can you bring that way, right? Like truly, what difference can you make walking around with a heart of stone? People aren't going to be drawn to that. There's no light in that. So just something to think about.
Why does foster care in the world in general is going to work very, very hard to try to harden you, to try to disconnect you, to try to untender heart you? And here are some ways that we have experienced this in our foster care journey. Just repeated disappointments in the system. You'll just question, why are people in this? Like Whitney alluded to earlier, it feels very much bio-parent centered, not child centered. Why are the judges making stupid decisions? Why can't caseworkers honor the time they said they're going to be here? Why are GALs asking questions of kids that they should never ask of kids?
Right.
Yeah, all those things. The trauma the kids bring in the house and the trauma we experience. All that, but I mean, it's hard not to become hardened when you experience that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And, something we've talked about a lot is the need for community. And if you don't have community, if you don't feel seen, if you don't feel supported, that will harden you really quick. Like you feel like you are on this little itty bitty lifeboat all alone, trying to keep your head above water and your children's heads above water. That will harden you real fast if you don't have people breathing life into you and walking alongside of you. And another one I see a lot is compassion fatigue.
That's real. Yeah.
Ugh, it is so real. And if you don't have help working through that compassion fatigue, I don't know what else our bodies will do except harden naturally.
So compassion fatigue, I mean, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But it's when your body grows exhausted from just being compassionate to people.
Caring.
Things,
when you're like a
situations.
caregiver, like when you are the person shouldering it all. Yeah. It's exhausting.
And some signs of compassion fatigue for me have been getting really frustrated with a kiddo in our home. Dismissing their behaviors and just starting to think they're a pain in the butt. They're not a good kid.
Yeah.
When it's the trauma talking, right?
Yes. Completely flipping that switch and forgetting like there's trauma here. There's trauma behind this. And just being exhausted at the end of your rope. Like, why can't you just listen?
And honestly, being hardened, having a hard heart is easier.
Yeah.
You know, the goal of foster care is goodbye. Loving a kid is hard. Never getting to that point where you are vulnerable and you're able to be hurt is a lot easier than giving yourself up.
Yeah.
Giving your heart up.
Yeah. And like you said, how scripture calls us to die to self every day. Take up your cross and surrender, right? Like a lot of this goes back to this, right? You can choose to have a hard heart, but then you're not walking aligned with what scripture calls us to do. When God calls us to take up our cross every day. Our pastor yesterday shared a really great statement, and I wrote it down, and he said, we all want a cross that we can wear, not a cross that we have to carry.
Yeah.
So powerful.
I really wish you would have used Romans 12:1. I said he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to share it. And then he did.
Share it. Go ahead. Do it now. This is your moment.
I need to memorize it but it's your life should be a living and holy sacrifice to God.
Yeah.
You should be a
Maybe
living
that should be
sacrifice.
your next tattoo.
I don't know if I'm 42. I don't think I'm getting any more tattoos.
I'm not
I think I'm done.
I mean, Grammy got one at like 70.
Grammy was having a later life crisis.
Later life crisis.
I was going to call it a midlife crisis, but let's be honest. So,
Oh, my word.
all right, moving on. If you need to find somebody who is the perfect example of soft strength, that's a good way. Soft strength.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, is Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, he's the example, right? Like he's the GOAT.
Okay. Let's slow down with the cool kids.
Do you know, like I just recently learned what GOAT meant when people say it like that?
Well, with the capital G, it means different than the lowercase g.
Oh,
the lowercase
boy.
G is a goat, like you're an outcast, you're silly, like scapegoat.
Okay, I'm
Lowercase
talking
G.
about the big G.
Yeah, greatest of all time. Thanks for talking the lingo. Yes.
Yeah, I never knew it. Like everyone would always say like, oh, the GOAT, the GOAT, the GOAT.
So you just giggled and went along with it, and then
I was hardened. I didn't do anything.
Okay.
Because I didn't get it.
I just think about his life. I mean, we can go through his whole life, but the best example is he washed Judas's feet right before
Knowing.
Judas betrayed him, knowing
Yeah.
that dude would betray him.
Yeah.
I mean, we get mad and we don't want to talk to foster or bio parents. We don't want to talk to caseworkers when we feel wronged. Imagine that dude
Right.
is going to betray you, that leads to your death in the most horrific way possible, and you are still going to wash his feet.
Yeah. Wild.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. You know, and I think one of the key takeaways here is that hardness is often due to self-protection, but it slowly costs us our ability to love. Imagine if in that scenario, Jesus, his heart was hardened towards Judas, knowing what he was about to do, which I feel like most of us would understand, right?
Yeah.
But he would have never led with that example then of still washing his feet.
And ultimately, Jesus on the cross, after being betrayed, after being brutalized, beaten, things we can't, I know I struggle to fully grasp what that looks like, what he went through for us. Hanging up on a cross, he still says, Father, please forgive them, for they know not what they're doing. Still, in his moments, the last moments of normal life before he was crucified, he still was soft-hearted towards those people who betrayed him, beat him, mocked him. Just to remind, softness is not weakness. It's Christ-likeness.
So you refer to that scripture. There's also Matthew 9:26. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. He could have been real ticked off that there were no workers around in that field.
Yeah. Yep.
Rightfully so. But that soft strength, I think that's something we all need to strive for.
It's the strongest people are the quiet ones.
I was going to say a quiet, soft strength.
Yeah, that's what you should strive for. Like,
yeah.
When people are loud and they're beating their chest, that's usually not the strongest people. It's just the quiet people.
That's the ones that want to make you think they're strong, right?
Well, I always said when I was going through the military training, the dudes that were, when I was going through OCS, we had some former SF guys that were going through OCS with us.
SF.
Special Forces.
Okay.
They'd done some stuff. And they were all good guys, but there was a couple of them that were just quiet. Those are the ones that you're like, okay. Why are you so quiet? And there was a couple of them that were very outgoing, very personable. I'm sure they were tough, awesome dudes too. But the quiet ones, you're like, okay, why are you being so quiet? And you just knew.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So the cost of hardening your heart in our world of foster care and adoption. Some of the risks.
What do you think hardening your heart would do?
Just be grumpy and mad all the time. And I've had those seasons when I've just
closed off.
I've had those seasons where I'm just frustrated.
Yeah.
Mad.
Not really. Specifically what it looks like real life here, like not wanting to come home, like kind of not begrudgingly, but not joyfully walking in the door after work, right?
Yeah,
not looking forward to coming home.
Getting short with the kids when people need a little extra husband or dad, or getting short. The moments that should spark joy don't.
Right.
It's like when you try to light a bonfire and you're like, it should go. Why is it not going?
Right.
And that's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Like I've done this 100 times. Every other time the fire went, why is it not going now?
Yeah.
When you have those moments where it should bring you joy, your kid being silly. Another one is the kids asking you to play with them. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, I need a rest. Let's leave me alone.
And 9 times out of 10, if you played with them, it would
spark joy.
Even if you were tired, it would reinvigorate you, right? But yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
And I think if you let your heart become hardened, you inevitably become more disconnected from God. Like they're hand in hand.
You can't have a hardened heart and be connected with
right.
God. Yeah.
Like you can't be in scripture every day, be praying constantly throughout your day, and have a hardened heart. Like they don't go hand in hand. So
yeah, you kind of jumped us right to how do you keep a soft, tender heart? That's, I think, one of the biggest steps right there.
Well, I don't even know where you're at now. Oh, okay. Look at that. Yeah. Look at me.
You made this outline, lady. So yeah. One of the best anecdotes for a hard heart is staying connected to God, staying connected to divine. It's getting in the Word every day.
Bearing the fruit. Yes. You need to look.
Yeah, but bearing the fruit is, I know what you mean, but just for clarity, it's not striving to, hey, I should display these things. It's because you're so connected to God, your life can't help but to bear that fruit.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying.
No, I know you're not. That's for clarity for people. The way you kind of said it there was like, yeah, you have to bear the fruit. And it's like, well,
authentically.
Like an apple tree doesn't try to be a pear tree. An apple tree bears apples. And our lives should bear, like we shouldn't have to work to bear the fruit. Right. We should just, it should happen by being in the Word, being connected to a good Bible church. Yeah. Being surrounded by Christian friends that positively influence us.
Having that joy in chaos that makes no sense, right? One of my sweet friends from church was telling me that she actually used me as an example for a talk that she gave for a women's group a couple weeks ago. And I had no idea. And she reached out to me after and she was like, hey, just want to know I talked to you about you tonight. And I was like, oh. Oh, okay. And she, really sweetly, kindly said, she's seen me at our family's lowest points. And she said, you show up with joy. And she said, I know it's authentic because I used to work with her and I was very real with her. And she sat with me through some really hard stuff. And she said, throughout all of it, you had joy and it was real. Yeah. And it was really cool to see her point that out because I don't know that I necessarily always feel that I have that joy, but the reason I have that joy is because I do my best to stay connected to the vine, however it might look in different seasons. It's not always getting to spend an hour in the Word every morning, but you bet I'm listening to worship music. You bet I'm praying throughout the day.
Yeah.
So if the 2-minute devotion on the Bible app is all I can do and listen to it throughout the day, that's fine. Yeah. Like you're still intentional. So
stay connected with Jesus is the most important thing you can do to stay tenderhearted.
Another one, this is probably one of the hardest ones for me at the beginning when I kind of kept my walls up, is to feel your feelings. Don't bury them.
Yeah. It's easier, right? If you don't feel feelings.
Yeah.
You make fun of me for having 2 feelings. And I think actually,
okay.
sometimes somebody else needs to wear that t-shirt.
Oh, by the way, Dr. Walker made me cry yesterday at church. So I
Singing?
finally did cry. No, he came up to me afterwards and hugged me and talked to me about our recent heartache, and tears came.
I bet he has that happen to him a lot.
He's so sweet.
Such a he's like a Southern gentleman, like just so soft, and we should have him on, ask him how, because at least he appears that way. Like
he's so sweet. Yeah. He could just sing for us on our podcast.
Perfect. So feel your feelings.
Yeah.
Don't ignore them. Don't pretend like they don't exist.
Take the time to grieve.
When a kid comes to your house and spends a long time in your house and you love the kid and they end up going home, not only should you feel sad, grieve that kid. It's okay to celebrate that kid going home, but it's also encourage that you're sad. You love that kid. Not because you think you should keep him forever, but just because you love the kid.
Yes. And it's safe to give that pain to the Lord. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and he saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Sit in that. Let yourself feel that pain. Let yourself process those emotions.
I mean, it's going to be different, but I almost imagine it's at least a cousin to when we get older and our kids get married and they start their own families. Right.
It's a loss. Yeah.
It's a loss. It's a perfect loss. That's how life's supposed to work.
Right.
That's how it's designed. Yeah. We'll celebrate, but also I assume we'll have a moment of, oh man. Like I was talking to Sean, our senior pastor, after church. He shared his son got married last weekend. He goes, man, my tears flowed when I came home and realized that my son would never come back here. Like that. I was like, that's what would get me, right? Getting back into the quiet of your house and seeing the quiet moments are what's going to get you too.
Yeah.
When that little kiddo would have been crawling up on your lap or whatever, and instead of being chaotic in your house and it's quiet.
Yeah. Crazy.
Set boundaries. Number 3, boundary setting is not wall building in the sense of heart hardening.
It's protection.
Boundaries. Yeah.
It's protection. Yeah. You can say no and still stay soft. You have to know, I would say, know certain boundaries ahead of time before you jump into whatever it is you're called to do. Know ahead of time.
But you might not know what your boundaries should be ahead of time. That's
some of them you learn on the way, right? Yeah.
Set boundaries.
Like, for example, real quick foster care example, we learned along the way with different biological families that we needed to enforce boundaries around visitation.
Yeah.
Because this mama bear got very, very frustrated and sick and tired of sending away little babies just to be in a car for an hour to 2 hours and then brought back home without ever having a visit. And it happened way more than it should have happened. So with certain families, we had to push for there to be a confirmation the day before the visit and a confirmation like an hour before the visit, or the visit wasn't happening. We weren't sending the kids out. So
that's a good example of setting a boundary.
Yeah. And it's for their protection. It's, not a boundary that will hurt anyone. Honestly, some bio parents need that
structure
too. And they need to either show up or get out, right? So that sounded harsh. I don't know how to say it better, but.
Yeah, that's not really a great way to say it. Keep choosing empathy.
Always.
That's hard.
Always.
Especially
assume the best.
Assume the best. Assume positive intent, right? Like I've always talked about. Hold on, we have a visitor. Side note. Our house kids are on the bad cold struggle bus.
Happy spring break. Good grief.
Snot and fevers. I mean, that's a great example of staying tenderhearted. Like we could have so our little Leah, our 7-year-old, just walked up to us. She's supposed to be in her bed till 6:30. It's 5:17.
Yeah, I was going to say it's currently 5 a.m.
So it's a little early. She has a fever. She's not feeling well. And we could have been like, hey, we just had to go to bed and stay in her bed. But, we gave her a hug and said, okay, go lay on the couch.
Yeah. She also woke me up at 4:00 with her fever. So she's been up for quite a while. I'm glad she woke me up early because we needed to record. So that worked out.
Good job, kiddo. Keep choosing empathy, right? Always assume positive intent and understand there's a story behind the bad behaviors in your home that are driving you insane and you don't understand. It's not just the kid being bad. It's because they have experienced trauma and their behaviors are their body's instinct to survive.
Yes. And that is not a natural reaction when you experience firsthand these unpreferred behaviors. But you need to keep it. We need to keep it at the forefront of our minds. They're not doing unpreferred things to be a bad kid, right? Like, no, there's something there. And that's hard for extended family to realize too. And you could also find yourself getting hardened at.
When you say it like now, it sounds so silly. Like, of course it's not. But when you're in the heat of the moment and a kid's acting crazy, it's a lot less simple.
Yes.
Stay in community. That's another thing to help keep your heart tender, soft heart. Stay in community.
And staying in community means being authentic with that community.
Yeah.
People cannot help carry the weight of what you're carrying if they don't know what it looks like.
You have to be risky, vulnerable with them.
Yes. You have to reach out. So, good example with Leah. I only remembered this when Jason talked about how I had walls up originally. She was only, it was a month into her placement when she was a baby, and she was struggling. I think we've shared some of her medical issues, but she was struggling, and it was right around the time that she got her NG feeding tube. About a month into Leah's placement, it was really hard. She was struggling.
Oh, man.
She was just miserable, and she only wanted me, but she was a miserable infant who she was hangry all the time because she was dying, like she was choking on her milk, but then she would spit it all up and it would literally like projectile vomit across the room. And
like comedically, it would be
like disgusting.
No, but I mean, like if you were making it like from the horror, like whatever the horror movie was, that was a spoof of all the funny honey horror movies, scary movie.
Yeah,
where they like did the exorcism scene and the dummy like vomits across the room. That's
literally
what it was
across the room. We needed new carpets when she got out of this.
That's what it was like.
So, but I remember it was a weekend and I was sitting holding her and I was just praying, like, God, I know you brought her to us for a reason.
I remember this.
I need to feel like I want to love her. Help me love her. And I reached out to some of our closest friends in our community and I said, guys, like, this is such a weird, odd request, but like, pray that my heart just genuinely loves her. Like, I'm tired of I'm just tired, and I'm tired of trying to love her, but not feeling that love because it's just really, really hard right now. And I'm typically really good with babies, but she was a really hard baby.
We're going to do an episode on her alone, like babies, just so other foster parents, like.
Yeah. Back to staying authentic with your community. Like, I had to.
That's vulnerable to say.
Be very vulnerable, yes.
Especially because people view you as somebody that just loves everybody, right?
Yeah.
For you to admit that I might not.
And I wanted to love her. And I said, please pray that I can genuinely and authentically love her, because Lord knows I am trying and I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. And I don't feel like there's this attachment and this bond like there should be. And like 2 hours after I sent that text, she smiled at me for the first time. And I remember that smile. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, thank you, God.
That smile a couple times, because she did it to me too a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. And for a miserable, hurting, in pain baby, like that smile was everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was healing.
Yes, it was healing. But that's the thing. But I would have never been able to ask for a specific prayer without being very vulnerable with where I was at. That's kind of where I'm going with community. Yeah. People cannot help you carry the weight that you don't share.
Yeah. No, that's really important. People, you have to be willing to share that with people.
Yeah.
Last one I would say to like how to stay soft-hearted. Let God heal whatever wound you're carrying.
Mm-hmm.
You can't heal it. Whatever wound it is. Is it a wound because of a wronged judge and kids suffered because of a judge's decision, a bad caseworker, bio parent, prior foster parent, whatever it is, whatever that wound is, give it to God.
You need to place it at the feet of Jesus. You cannot carry it and still carry on as if it didn't exist.
All right, let's share a couple quick stories. Other than with Lee at the beginning, when have you felt your heart being hard? Your heart being hard.
My heart being hard.
For me, it would be after that one kiddo abruptly went home. When the whole system's like...
That was just a crappy
situation. The DCS caseworker said, nope, that kid should stay in care. The GAL said, no, the child should stay in care. And this judge decided based off of like a 20 or 21-year-old visit supervisor's suggestion. It's like, no, I think this kid is ready.
Who was afraid to speak up in front of mom.
And I think this kid's ready to go home, even though the bio mom had not done a single thing outlined by DCS of what she needed to do. Nope, kid's ready to go home. And the kid went home. Mm-hmm. And she suffered because of it. That was the point. I'm like, you know what? What are we even doing? If this can happen, like, what's the point? Mm-hmm. I would say anytime you ask yourself, what's the point? That's a trigger. That's a symptom of your heart going in the wrong direction.
So I have one for you that you just triggered a memory, but it's really a time that I prayed to be able to stay soft anyway. And it goes back to the little girl I was just talking about. And it goes back to about that same time frame, but when we were in the local children's hospital with her. And it was the very first time we were admitted for this feeding tube, and her mom was about to have a visit with her for the first time since she was removed at the hospital with the visit supervisor. And I was prepared for this visit. I knew she was coming. I saw her walk down the hallway, and I stood up holding her baby with a smile on my face, excited to meet her and give her baby. She charged at me, accused me of having Munchausen by proxy, that her child did not need a feeding tube. She thought I was nuts. And she charged at me, going to swing at me. And Jason had to step in while I was holding her baby. Well, my memory tells me that she was swinging at me.
Yep.
Like, I vividly remember that.
Yeah, yep.
And I mean, security had to get involved. Like, it was a very heated moment, and she was not happy to see me. And my sweet little heart, I was really happy to see her and like get to know her and talk about her baby. She was not having the same feelings.
She was not.
And I remember after everything kind of de-escalated, I went down stairs of the hospital to sit in the chapel during this visit because I wasn't going to leave the hospital. Like, I wasn't leaving this baby. Mom was only supposed to be visiting for an hour or two.
And we went down to the chapel.
So I went and literally hid in the chapel. But I remember crying to Jason on the elevator saying, how am I supposed to love her? Because I went into this with a heart for the bio moms too. Because I know in my heart of hearts, one wrong decision at any point in my life, I could have been that mom.
Fast forward. You got to fill everybody in how this story evolved.
I feel like we did already, but I don't know if I ever shared that part.
But, and I don't know, people might not have listened to that episode,
true.
So keep going. No.
If you're brand new. So I got into the elevator and literally broke down and wept to Jason. And I said, how am I supposed to love her? And only God showed up. So that day I literally hid in the chapel for 2 hours until I got confirmation that mom was out of the building. But fast forward, probably 8 months to a year later,
So not that long in the big scheme of things.
No. And I mean, within that time frame, I would, I had a little notebook. I would send notes and updates of Leah to her mom for visits and everything. So I was trying to build a relationship how I could and to let her know that we love her little girl. And there was one procedure Leah had done at the children's hospital, and mom, it was like 3 months later. It was when she was getting her G-tube placed. She had her NG for 3 months. So it was 3 months later, and she was getting her G-tube placed. And mom was there for that surgery. She sat with me while Leah was in surgery, and walking to her room afterwards, mom and I had the opportunity to talk. And this is how quickly God can change your heart too. Because remember, 4 months earlier, I was asking friends to pray with me that I would feel an attachment to this little girl. And mom was talking to me that she was worried that Leah would end up in the system. And I told her, I said, listen, I promise you, she will not get lost in the system. If for whatever reason the courts deem you unfit to parent her and you lose your rights, we will adopt her and we will love her like our own. And the timeline's a little fuzzy now because now I'm questioning.
Yeah, it wasn't that soon.
I don't think it was that soon.
You guys had but
it was a procedure in the hospital. So
you guys had a heart-to-heart. That conversation happened later, but you guys did walk and talk and hug and connect.
Yes.
The conversation about us, hey. It was almost like a year or 16 months later.
Because it was right before COVID.
It might have been after a swallow study or something like that. It was a minor
my memory's
procedure.
A little foggy. Yeah.
Sure. Well, you spent a lot of nights at Riley with that little girl. Yeah. So Whitney and this mom.
But that's my storytelling for you. So
mostly right. Whitney and this
really
mom built a relationship. When they would see each other, they'd hug it out on the way out. That's the relationship Whitney built with his mom. And Leah's belly mom loved her.
Yes,
unquestionably, she loved her.
We can tell her that without a doubt that her mommy
with
loved
integrity.
Her.
Yep.
Yeah.
But she was struggling with some stuff, and on the way out, Whitney and her were going through the checkpoints or whatever, stepping outside. I don't know what it was, but I remember you telling me you looked at her and said, "Hey, I don't know what's going to happen, but if for whatever reason this little girl does not come home to you, we will adopt her. She's not going to get lost." And that was almost like a weight off her shoulders because I think
it was a turning point for her.
I think she saw Leah one other time after that, and then she kind of just disappeared. Yeah. I think she knew we loved her. She knew.
I mean, we haven't been able to have any contact with her. I really hope and pray that conversation
pops up.
Was as impactful for her as it was for me. And that she believes that. Because I meant that with all my heart. And
absolutely.
We followed through on that. So, yeah.
As we're wrapping up here, foster parents, you're doing really hard stuff.
Hardest. We get you.
It's really hard.
We see you.
Don't let your heart be hardened. That is a tool of the devil.
When you feel at your lowest and feel that it would be easier to shut down, don't. Pray, reach out,
connect
to your people, have them pray over you and pray with you and pray for you. You take all of that to the feet of Jesus. You do not shut down. Staying soft is holy work. And loving kids who may leave is not ever wasted.
Remember, these kids might not ever get any sort of love, unconditional love outside of what they're getting from you. You might be it. You might be the only time they experience that in their life.
And hopefully not, but rest in that you provided that taste of love for them.
Make it count. Make your time with those kids count.
Yeah. It is a hard calling.
Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good. For the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up.
Some things to ask yourself as we're closing out here. Maybe ask yourself, where have I started to harden in any area of your life? And what would it look like if I invited God back into that place? And maybe a little prayer idea for you. Just open your hands and say, God, soften what life has hardened. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep dreaming small.
Thank you for listening to the Dream Small podcast. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please tap that follow button and leave us a review. It helps other people find my mom and dad's show. If you're on Spotify, please give my parents a follow and a 5-star rating. And wherever you listen, don't forget to share the show with a friend who needs a little encouragement today. You can also follow us on social media to stay in the loop. Instagram at dreamsmallpodcast, Facebook Dream Small Podcast, Twitter or X at dreamsmallshow, or email us anytime at dreamsmallpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you, and remember, just dream small. See you next time.